All right, we're diving into inflammation today. You guys requested it, and I found the perfect resource.
Oh, it's going to be good.
We're looking at a YouTube video from Dr. Anshul Gupta. He's board certified, but he also specializes in functional and integrative medicine, which I think is going to bring a really interesting perspective.
Definitely. And he's tackling a huge issue why so many people are feeling achy, foggy-brained, or even struggling with weight.
Right, like, is there something deeper going on?
He says it all comes back to inflammation, which is something a lot of us deal with.
Okay, so not just a post-workout thing. This is bigger.
Way bigger. Dr. Gupta connects it to some serious stuff. Heart disease, diabetes, even autoimmune disorders.
Whoa, okay. So this isn't just about feeling off. It can have long-term consequences.
Exactly. He calls it a silent saboteur, quietly causing damage throughout the body.
That's kind of scary, actually. I think a lot of us just assume inflammation is temporary, like after you twist your ankle or something.
Right, but this chronic inflammation is different.
Yeah.
And he breaks down 5 major culprits behind it.
Okay, lay it on me. What's fueling this fire?
Well, the first one might not be a shocker. It's our diet.
Figures. But is it really that big of a deal?
Dr. Gupta says it's not just what you ate yesterday, it's years of choices catching up to you.
Seriously, so like my teenage junk food phase is still haunting me.
Potentially. He calls out the usual suspects: sugar, processed stuff, fried foods, the works. But he also includes modern dairy and gluten on that list.
Interesting. I'm actually lactose intolerant, so maybe that explains some things for me. But what about gluten? Isn't that kind of trendy to avoid?
It is trendy, but Dr. Gupta has specific reasons. He explains that the gluten we eat now is genetically different than what our ancestors ate.
Huh. So it's like a modified food.
Yeah. And he says it can be way harder for our bodies to digest, which triggers inflammation in the gut for a lot of people, even if they don't have celiac disease.
Oh, so it's not just an all-or-nothing thing with gluten. There's a whole spectrum of how our bodies react.
Right. And then there's dairy. He says the way we process it now, pasteurization and homogenization, actually changes the milk proteins.
And those changes make it more inflammatory.
For a lot of people, yep. So that's 2 culprits down, 3 to go.
Hit me with the next one.
This one's a biggie: chronic stress.
Yeah, I feel that one already.
Dr. Gupta says even if you think you handle stress well, your body might disagree.
Oof, that's me. I'm always telling myself I thrive under pressure, but maybe I'm fooling myself.
Well, here's the thing. Stress releases cortisol, which is fine in short bursts, but long-term exposure to high cortisol levels actually contributes to inflammation throughout your whole body.
So my go-go-go attitude might be backfiring.
It's possible. He says to watch out for subtle signs of chronic stress fatigue, trouble sleeping, digestive issues. Those could be signals that your body's inflamed.
Okay, those are definitely things I experience.
Yeah.
So diet, stress, well, it's culprit number 3.
This one might surprise you: nutritional deficiencies.
Really, like not getting enough vitamins and minerals can cause inflammation.
He specifically points to vitamin D and omega-3s as being super important.
I mean, I take a multivitamin, so shouldn't I be good?
Maybe not. Dr. Gupta says a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D, especially if you don't get much sunlight. And even if you're taking a multi, it might not have the right dose or the best form of vitamin D.
Okay, so what's so special about vitamin D? How does it link to inflammation?
Research shows it helps regulate your immune system and reduce inflammation. So when you're deficient, your immune system can overreact, leading to chronic inflammation.
Gotcha. And what about omega-3s? I know those are good for your heart, but how do they fit into all of this?
They have powerful anti-inflammatory effects. The problem is our modern diet is loaded with omega-6s, which can actually promote inflammation.
Oh, interesting. So it's not just about adding more omega-3s, it's about balancing them with omega-6s.
Exactly. Too many omega-6s, which are often found in processed foods and certain oils, can throw off that balance and lead to more inflammation.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got diet, stress, nutritional deficiencies. What's the 4th culprit?
This one's a bit broader: toxins.
Toxins. I feel like that word is everywhere these days.
Right. Dr. Gupta says we're exposed to them constantly in our food, water, air, even everyday products.
That feels kind of overwhelming. Like, how do you even avoid that?
You can't completely avoid them, but you can minimize your exposure. Choose organic foods when possible, filter your water, use natural cleaning products, be mindful of your personal care products, things like that.
So it's about making conscious choices to reduce your overall exposure.
Exactly. He calls it reducing your toxic load, which helps your body manage inflammation better.
All right, that makes sense. So 4 down, 1 to go. What's the final culprit?
This one's a little more complex. Chronic infection.
Like what kind of infections?
It could be anything from gut bacteria imbalances to lingering viruses or parasites. Basically, anything that keeps your immune system on high alert for a long time.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about surface level stuff. It goes deeper.
Exactly. And he says most people actually have a combo of these issues, not just one.
That makes sense. It's probably rare to have just one thing causing inflammation.
Yeah.
There's usually a bunch of factors working together.
Right. And that's why quick fixes don't work. You got to address the root causes.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. It's like a puzzle, right?
Totally. And once you understand how those pieces fit, you can start to take control. Now, are you ready to hear about Dr. Gupta's 3-step plan to fight back?
Absolutely. Let's get tactical.
Okay, so step 1 is all about overhauling your diet.
I was kind of hoping you'd say that I love a good food challenge.
Oh, this is definitely a challenge. But Dr. Gupta makes it super clear. He gives you 2 lists: foods to eliminate and foods to embrace.
Ooh, I like that. Let's start with the eliminate list. What are we ditching?
Sugar-processed foods, anything fried, dairy, and gluten.
Not too surprising. I've messed around with cutting some of those things out before and definitely felt a difference.
It's amazing how much better your body can feel when you take out those inflammatory triggers, but it's not all about deprivation. Dr. Gupta also gives you a whole list of foods that can actually fight inflammation.
Okay, now we're talking. Give me the goods.
Yeah.
What should we be eating?
Load up on those colorful veggies, all the colors of the rainbow. Lean proteins, think fish, chicken, nuts, seeds, and healthy fats. Avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, that kind of thing.
I love it. Eat the rainbow and ditch the beige. I can get behind that.
He even has this morning drink recipe that he swears by. Says it's helped to tons of his patients.
Ooh, tell me more. I'm always up for trying new drinks.
It's pretty simple. Warm water with ginger, turmeric, lemon, and a little stevia if you want it sweeter.
That sounds delicious. A&D, super anti-inflammatory. I have to try that.
It's a great way to start your day, for sure.
All right, so step 1 is diet. What about step 2? What else can we do to tackle this inflammation?
Step 2 is all about supplements.
Supplements. Interesting. I've tried a bunch of different ones over the years, but sometimes it's hard to know if they're actually doing anything.
Right. Dr. Gupta recommends a few key ones to target inflammation specifically.
Okay, I'm all ears. What's on the list?
He starts with vitamin D, but he says it's crucial to take it with vitamin K2.
Why is that? What's the benefit of combining them?
A lot of people are deficient in vitamin D, and K2 helps your body absorb it better.
So it's like a tag team effort.
Exactly. Plus, K2 helps direct calcium to your bones where it's supposed to be, instead of letting it build up in your arteries, which can be bad news.
So it's kind of like double duty. You're getting the anti-inflammatory benefits of vitamin D and the bone-protecting benefits of K2.
Yep, smart, right.
Very smart.
Yeah.
What else is on the list?
He also has his own blend of anti-inflammatory herbs. He calls it Inflammo.
Inflammo. Catchy name. What's in it?
It's got a bunch of powerful ingredients: curcumin, ginger, boswellia. They're all known for their anti-inflammatory properties.
So it's like a super group of inflammation fighters.
Exactly. And he adds enzymes to the blend to help with absorption because some of those compounds can be tough for your body to break down on its own.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's like a supercharged anti-inflammatory formula.
Yep. He's really thought it through. And of course, no anti-inflammatory regimen would be complete without omega-3s.
Right, the good fats. I actually take fish oil already. Does that count?
It might, but Dr. Gupta is specific about the types of omega-3s you need. EPA and DHA are the ones that really make a difference for inflammation.
Oh, so not all omega-3s are created equal.
Nope. You got to look for those specific ones. And quality matters, too. He actually has an anti-inflammatory bundle on his website with all the supplements he recommends.
That's really helpful. It takes the guesswork out of it. So diet and supplements, those are steps 1 and 2. What about step 3? What's the final piece of the puzzle?
Step 3 focuses on lifestyle changes. Things you can do every day to support your body and reduce inflammation.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. What kind of lifestyle changes are we talking about?
He starts with stress management. Finding healthy ways to cope with stress is absolutely essential.
Stress management. I keep hearing that's important, but it's always easier said than done, right?
I know, right? But it makes a huge difference. Dr. Gupta recommends meditation, deep breathing, spending time in nature, even considering an adrenal support supplement if you need extra help.
I've been meaning to try meditation. Maybe this is the push I needed.
Yeah. It can be so powerful for calming your nervous system. Even just a few minutes a day can make a difference.
Okay, I'm going to look into that. What about sleep? I know that's important for overall health, But how does it relate to inflammation specifically?
When you don't get enough sleep, your body produces more inflammatory chemicals. It's like it goes into overdrive.
Ugh, yeah. The sleep struggle is real. I definitely don't get enough most nights.
He recommends aiming for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night.
I'll try. What about exercise? Where does that fit in?
Exercise is interesting. Intense exercise can actually increase inflammation temporarily because your muscles are repairing and revealing.
Oh, that makes sense. So it's like good inflammation.
Yeah, but regular moderate exercise actually helps reduce chronic inflammation over time.
Okay, so it's all about finding that sweet spot. Not overdoing it, but also not being sedentary.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Even just 15 to 20 minutes of walking a few times a week can make a big difference.
I can definitely do that. I love that we have so much control over our health through these simple choices. It's not just about relying on medications or anything like that.
Right. It's about supporting your body's natural ability to heal and thrive.
So to recap, Dr. Gupta's 3-step plan is clean up your diet, add in targeted supplements, and make those lifestyle changes.
You got it. And he says consistency is key.
Makes sense. It's not about being perfect all the time. It's about building those healthy habits over time.
Exactly. What stood out to you the most from his approach?
I really like how he emphasizes the mind-body connection. It's not just about addressing the physical symptoms of inflammation. It's about taking care of your mental and emotional well-being, too.
Yeah. He recognizes that stress and mental health play a huge role in overall health and inflammation.
It's so true. And I think a lot of doctors overlook that. It's refreshing to hear someone acknowledge the whole picture.
Totally. And it makes you wonder about the ripple effects, right? If inflammation is linked to all these chronic conditions, imagine the long-term benefits of getting it under control, NOW.
Right. It's like an investment in your future health.
Exactly. And it's not just about preventing disease, it's about feeling better in your day-to-day life. Think about all that brain fog and fatigue Dr. Gupta talked about.
Ugh. Don't remind me. Some days it's like I'm running on fumes. I'd do almost anything to get rid of that brain fog.
Well, there's actually a lot of research on that inflammation can mess with your cognitive function and mood. So reducing inflammation can help you think more clearly, have more energy, and even feel happier.
That would be life-changing, honestly. It's crazy how much impact something like inflammation can have on your whole life.
It really is. And it highlights how important it is to be proactive about your health. It's not just about waiting for things to go wrong. It's about taking steps to optimize your well-being. And no W.
I love that. It's about empowering yourself. Dr. Gupta gives you the tools to do that. He's not just talking about the problem, he's giving you concrete solutions.
He's all about action, which I appreciate. He doesn't want you to just sit there and feel helpless. He wants you to take charge.
And that's what makes this deep dive so valuable, right? It's not just information, it's motivation.
Totally. It's like a roadmap to better health. And even though we focused on inflammation specifically, it really touches on so many aspects of well-being.
Connected, right?
Everything is. And that's what's so exciting about taking a holistic approach. When you address one area of your health, it often has positive effects on other areas too.
It's like a chain reaction.
Yeah.
The more you take care of yourself, the better you feel, and the more motivated you are to keep going.
Exactly. It's a beautiful cycle. So for our listener who requested this deep dive, what's the biggest takeaway? What do you want them to remember?
Ooh, good question. I think the biggest thing is don't ignore those nagging symptoms. If you're dealing with fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, aches and pains, those could be signs of inflammation. And you don't have to just live with them.
Right. There are things you can do to feel better. Start with small changes, be consistent, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Find a doctor who gets it, who understands the whole picture. And remember, you're not alone in this. So many people are struggling with inflammation, but there is hope and there are solutions.
You got this.
That's a wrap on our inflammation deep dive. We hope you found it helpful and empowering. Remember, knowledge is power, and now you have the tools to take control of your health.
It was a pleasure diving deep with you. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.